All right, so agenda for the legislative meeting of the mayor and council of City of Rainier today on Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. This is a virtual legislative meeting of the mayor and council. Call to order. Valerie Woodall.
I'm
Valerie.
here. I'm sorry.
Luke.
Here.
Jared.
Here.
And I don't see Jimmy. And like I stated earlier, Jimmy did send us a message to let us know he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. There's a probability he wouldn't make it. So if he joined us later, then he'll join us. Okay, moving on to Pledge Allegiance. Vice Mayor, can you please lead the Pledge Allegiance?
Yep. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We're moving on to item number 2, review of the agenda. This is 5 minutes. The Mayor and Council will review the agenda for the meeting, adding or deleting topics of interest or discussion. Council, is there anything you would like to add to this agenda or delete? Please let us know. If not, give me thumbs up that you're ready to move on or make a motion. Okay. I see the whole entire council thumbs up, so we are going to be moving with the agenda. And I know you did not just stop my momentum, Melissa. Yes.
Number 4 is supposed to be deleted, remember?
No, don't delete it. Leave it on the agenda. We're just going to make an announcement that we got information that, she's not coming, right? Okay. But it has to stay. It has to stay that we just like announce it. All right, moving on to item number 3, Mayor and council members event announcement. Council members shared the great activities you're doing and what you guys are going to be doing. We're starting with Luke, Valerie, and Jared. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This Saturday, there is a cleanup that the green team is hosting around town, and I'm just pulling up the exact time of it. It's 10 a.m. We're meeting at City Hall, and we're going to send a few groups out throughout the city to do some cleanup. Gabe Popkins going to lead a group of folks along Eastern Avenue to do cleanup there. That'll include Rogers Park. And then I think members of the green team are also going to do a bit of a cleanup around the City Hall, Rhode Island Avenue area, and the south side of Mount Rainier, south of Rhode Island Avenue. Encourage everybody to come out to City Hall at 10 a.m. We will have pickers, we will have garbage bags, we'll have stuff for people, and we'll have leaders to kind of take you out throughout town. It'll be a good time to do some cleanup. We've had some windy days, so there is trash around town. So please join the green team and with this effort on Saturday.
You're done?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, you just paused. I wasn't sure if you were done. Also, if you have any high school students that want to volunteer, you will be getting volunteer hours as well. We love signing volunteer hours for high school students. All right. So, Valerie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I know the Recreation Committee is meeting tomorrow evening. I think the link and the information is up on the city website. In terms of other events, the Mount Rainier Elementary School PTO just announced that they are the first PTO school to register in the state for walk and bike to school day, or walk, bike, and roll to school day on May 3rd. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully Thomas Stone will also walk, bike, and roll, and so the whole city can celebrate that. And then I think that's it. Yep, thank you.
Thank you. One more announcement you need to make about the gazebo, Valerie. We're so proud of that.
Oh, sorry.
Can you tell the community what's the update with the gazebo, please?
Yes. So the gazebo at 33rd and Bunker Hill has been a project of the Mount Rainier Elementary PTO since the pandemic began to help grow food and things for food insecurity and things like that. Then in 2021, it turned more into like a flower garden bed situation. But at one point, the school system had come out, the lights to the gazebo, there was an electrical line that goes to the gazebo from the school, and it was broken. And so we were pushing and pushing and pushing for about a year and a half to get the lights fixed. the school system came out, they installed solar panel lights onto the top of the gazebo and around it. And so now there are motion sensor lights that come on to the gazebo at night or in dark times. And hopefully that will continue to create a more positive place for the gazebo at the corner of 33rd and Bunker Hill. And the PTO should be out there this spring, replanting the garden beds and doing all the work around that. So that is good news. That will be a big deal. And it's also part of the climate change action plan that the Prince George's County Public Schools has been working toward. We're kind of like a small display of kind of how solar can actually work to solve kind of larger problems that the school system has. And we also picked some carrots at the gazebo this weekend. So it's kind of a good weekend. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And also thank you for your work. When it comes, I know that's projects that you worked in the school prior to being a council member, but also as a council member. So I was really happy to see the news because the gazebo lighting has been an issue, and it was the perfect way to solve it without having all the crazy wiring and sticking to the school climate change and obviously to the city green initiatives as well. So thank you for that. Jerry, go ahead.
No, nothing to add. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Melissa, can you make it to the bottom of the agenda? Okay, thank you so much. So Luke already mentioned the community cleanup on March 11. This is this Saturday. Then we have electronic recycling on March 18 at Public Works. Proposed budget hearing on March 25th, and that's like a whole day event. The egg hunt will be held April 1st at the Nature Center. Election day is May 1st at the Nature Center. The youth scholarship deadline is May 12th. So if you have anyone that is a high school student attending college, community college, or vocational school, or is in any of those, please feel free to apply. And Mount Rainier Day is scheduled for May 20th. As far as my announcements, I was able to be one of the speakers at the Prince George's County Council for their CB7 2023, which was rent civilization. So it did pass 9-1, and the county executive signed it the next day. So it had the support of the county executive, Angela Serbrook. So that is great news. So it becomes in full effect on the 17th, but during this 45 days, it is enacted, which means that there's protection for the tenants. This morning/midday, I was also in Brockville at the press conference from Montgomery County executive, county executive outreach. He was there along with Joando and Mix, our legislative leaders over there, and they are working on rent civilization bill. As you guys know, they had an emergency bill during the pandemic, and they're working, their proposal is the Home Act, and it's gonna be capped at 3%, or the county executive rule, whichever is lesser, which basically means that it would never go above 3%. So that is moving forward in conversations. And it was really, really, really well attended by resident organizations. There were business owners there, and also there was a landlord also that spoke on the press conference. So it's definitely good. I've been if you've been following me on social media, I've been attending Annapolis a lot, advocating for our community. So the two bills that, so I was there today as well. After Rockville, I went to Annapolis. And I'm happy to say they're moving forward. They're very well into the legislative session at the Senate and the House. So we are going to be having a bill crossover coming up in March, and we're going to try to make sure we're testifying for the various bill, including the creation of SB 696, I believe it is, the creation of the Prince George's Art Development. The other one that I helped on was 1098, and that is financial support when it comes to multicultural learning, like the equivalent of ESL immersion programs. Many of that, and I'll give you a whole run of the list. If you guys follow me on social media, you saw them. Also, when it comes to granting the authority to be able to for the various departments to utilize the TIN number, the temporary, the tax ID number, the individual tax ID numbers for residents in order to apply for licenses for health services. As we know, there's a big shortage on health providers, nurses, doctors, and so on. So this would definitely be able to address a big hole that we have in order to have providers that are be able to take care of our residents. So that's been a lot. And I just, I was telling the team that I just came out of the virtual meeting with Thomas Stone PTO. So they're doing a lot of programming. I've asked for them to share that information so that way we could share in our calendar as well to get people involved. Usually like the community events that both Mount Rainier Elementary and Thomas Stone, Mount Rainier Elementary just had a movie night the other day, are open to the public. And that's the way how the PTOs fundraise for their schools. Lastly, I told you guys $2.99 only, right? I'll delete one. And lastly, oh my goodness. So the town of Brentwood and town of Rainier are collaborating together to find to be able to get safety pathways when it comes to 34. It is a collaboration of both cities because 34th Street, it is shared between the two cities. So we've had the vice mayor and council members for Brentwood, also their chief and their team, as well as our team. Our city manager was there, as well as Rosie, our director of public works, making sure that we have conversations how to make the pathway safer. We're learning best practice and collaborating so that we can also, bring them to address like the issues at Mount Rainier Elementary, Bunker Hill, and Shepherd as well. So it's been a very good conversation, and we should be having our next meeting. Kamali said it like in 2-3 weeks or so. I think that's going to be our next meeting.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
All right, perfect. All right, so I will leave it at that, but please know that your mayor and council are advocating both the county and the state when it comes to the residents, and we've been doing a lot of work to make sure that our voice from the city is heard, not just, and through our delegation, our Senate, and others. So we definitely have been able to build good support in the work that we're doing. All right, so see, not too bad, right? Okay, so moving on to item number 4, that was the presentation for County Councilmember Wanika Fisher. We did receive an email this evening from her deputy chief of staff, correct, Melissa? Letting us know that she won't be able to make it to our meeting because she has a committee conflict of interest. So she won't be able to do it. So we'll see if we could schedule her for a future meeting. So just sorry if you were here to hear her. She's not here. Okay. All right. So Melissa, that was it, right? For what we will email, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So thank you so much. So moving on to item number 5, we have public comment. For public comment, if you have a member of the community that wishes to speak, you have 3 minutes to speak uninterrupted. And if you represent a collective, you have 5 minutes, and all the other members of your group see their time. In order for you to speak 5 minutes, make sure we make sure that you're a recognized member of that group, so that way we do not take the time to speak for the other members. You're asked to put your name, block number, name, and address on the chat if you're listening to us virtually. If you're on the phone, please let us know you're on the phone and you'd like to speak. We did have residents do that. And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and put your comment, and our team will share it in the chat so that we can read it. If you choose to put a comment on the chat and if you don't want to say it and you just want us to read it, then just put read, so that way I know that's what you like us to do. So at this moment, I'm going to do the rundown to see if we have anybody. We also ask to please speak on items that are on the agenda during the item number. If you cannot stay for whatever reason, public comment will be the place to do it. If it's things that are not on the agenda, that's also the place to speak on them. All right, so Jared, anybody on Facebook?
No comments on Facebook.
Okay. Do we have any member of the public that wishes to speak? Please let us know. All right. Hearing and seeing none. Nobody on the phone that wishes to speak? Okay, hearing none, we are going to close public comments at this moment, and we'll be moving on to all business. Item number 6, presentation and vote on the Operations Arts Art Gallery project. The mayor and council will receive a presentation by Operations Arts and vote on the art galleries. So we've had Operation Art here a couple of times. They did went to the Arts Commission. One of the questions that the Art Commission had was if it was going to be, the paint is UV protected. They did answer that it is. The coating and paint are both UV protection. So I do see Operation Art here. Hi, Operation Art. And I'll see, go ahead and see the floor. Let me know if you need us to give you sharing screen.
Yes, I will need sharing capabilities. Hello, everybody.
Okay, Melissa, can you give them share?
Okay, let's see. All right, so these are the two designs. Basically, one's going to have a black background and one is going to have a white background. We did make a little bit of changes. We did put the free art and supplies inside on the side. Also, when you open it up, there is vinyl with instructions on the inside as well. But these are the two designs that we've lowered it down to and are voting on
Can you
today.
do me a favor? Can you tell people?
Selena, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Cutting in and out.
Can you hear me now?
No, you're still cutting in and out.
Okay, can you hear me now better?
Perfect.
Thank you. I was going to ask you if you could remind our residents what Operation Art is and what exactly they're looking at right now.
Yes, absolutely. So Operation Arts is a nonprofit. Our mission is to develop the creative economy. One of our programming is the free little art galleries. So part of our programming is to continue to bring art to the community. This is something that we've been trying to bring to Mount Rainier for the last, I would say 6 months. And this project means a lot to us. We have about 5 free little art galleries in the community, and they've been doing very well. They really do attract a lot of people from not only Maryland, but across the US. We've had people from California to Texas have traveled all the way here to actually contribute to our project. And this design, Renee Taylor did, she's not going to be able to join us till later, but she made this design to try to capture the bright culture in Mount Rainier. So this was the design that we decided on to capture the city's appeal and wanting to bring this to Mount Rainier. I hope I covered everything. Does anyone have any questions about this design or any suggestions?
Thank you so much. So Council, I'm gonna call upon you guys. They did make the recommendation that the Art Commission did, which was like the logos, right? And about speaking, they did added a little free gallery and supplies inside in the front as well. So this is option 1 and 2. You have the white background and you have the black background. Okay, so we need to decide what it is we want to do, and I guess move forward. The Arts Commission say they're happy with either one of them. So if that makes any difference to you. So, all right. So Luke, we're going to start with you because you're liaison to the Arts Commission, and then we'll make our way across. Go ahead.
Well, does Operation Arts, I have one question. Does Operation Arts have a recommendation? Like, I've heard, well, I'll start with my thoughts and then end with a question. Personally, I like the white because I like the brightness of it. I love both of them though, with the floral designs. It fits a lot of the aesthetic around the neighborhood. But I've heard people say that sometimes black backgrounds can be good because it makes stuff pop. So just wondering if there's any recommendation, because while I like white, is the background, I'm willing to go with black as the background if it makes more sense for some reason.
Sure thing. I can speak on that if it's okay. We also like the white background the best. We think it's brighter. But it really would be maybe an opinion point for the entire council. The white, even though we do have a UV protectant in the paint as well as the coating, white will reflect more of the light, so it'll be less affected by UV as well.
Great. I'm for that then. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Renee. Go ahead.
The white also becomes more visibly dirty over time. So I also recommend the black, just because like if there's any like dust or anything in the air, you'll see it more noticeably, if that makes sense.
All right, perfect. Jared, then Valerie.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the least qualified person to opine on which one of these to go for. That was my only thought. Was what you mentioned was white, because of just street dust and everything would probably get dirty a lot quicker. So my only inclination would be to black, but I trust the recommendation of whichever folks prefer. And they both look fantastic, so I really like it.
Thank you so much, Jared. Valerie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for working through this. I think they both look great. I definitely think the black background would be better just in terms of public art, only because I've myself installed some public art here and there, and the white background definitely gets dirty quickly. So I actually have to replace them that I've put up. So, but I'm happy with either one. If we have to go back and forth, it's fine. But I would lean toward the black background personally.
You guys made this very easy, right? Console. So much for making this a short meeting. So you know what? I'm happy with the design. I think you guys definitely captured the things that we wanted, right? When it came to smooth, like reflecting of the area, and it looks beautifully, especially because we also have other art pieces in the area that are very much into our nature. So that is beautiful. So I think whoever designed them or whoever's going to paint them, we definitely want to make sure we know, so we can acknowledge their great work as well. The art commission did mention what Luke said. They wanted to know which UV will be better, so that the paint will last longer. It's just so hard. This is definitely one of those that they're both very beautiful. So Council, I need to hear where you guys are at. Because I'm hearing kind of mixed. I'm hearing white, black, and in the middle. Correct. So Luke, where are you?
Am I understanding? I think I heard two things from Operations Art and Renee. Was it the recommendation that it be the white background or the black background, or is there sort of two differing views there?
The recommendation would be the black background, just because it will be less visibly dirty over time, because it is outdoors. You will have to maintain it much more if you do get the white background. So either or. The UV protection that we use is also anti-graffiti proof. So it will keep it from vandalism and from UV protection, but it'll still get dirty over time.
Okay, then I'm with the black background. Thank you.
Okay, Jared?
Yep, black background.
Valerie?
That's good with me.
You're black. Okay. So I like the black background. I think it pops even more. And for all the other reasons you guys stated, I definitely think that it's black. So Council, I'm going to do a roll call for black. Can you guys put a motion in the floor so that way we have it for the record that we are voting on the black background that's being presented in front of us?
I move to approve the black background for the Mount Rainier art magnet.
Okay. Any seconds?
Seconded.
Okay, so we probably move in second. Any other discussion, Council? So members of the community, you have anything to say? This would be the perfect time to say it. Anything on Facebook, Jared?
Crowry Kinshaw said the darker colors are very nice.
Yeah, they're very nice. Thank you so much. I don't see nothing on the chat. So I will assume there's nothing and nothing on the phone, right? Okay, then you have Katanya Casewood, I like the black background. Okay, I think we very much like so I'm not gonna hold this very much. There's a motion on the floor. We had a discussion. Any objection on approving the black background? Any abstentions? Hearing none, this item passes 400. Okay, so Operation Art, we're moving forward with the black background, and I will be calling you guys tomorrow because I did saw the email to address it. Okay, so let me know if tomorrow at 9 o'clock I could be on the phone with you guys. Okay, 9 or 10. If not, text me. You guys know how to get a hold of me. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you both for coming. I appreciate you guys. All right. All right, perfect. Yeah, that's very beautiful. I've seen the ones in Emerson, the two in Brentwood. They're really nice. So I've actually just go hung out with her and left little R behind. So
Thank you.
There. Thank you guys. All right. So Melissa, you have you have the sharing ability back or no? Operational arts, don't leave.
I'm still here.
Can we get the sharing back?
I stopped sharing. How do I do that? I'm sorry.
That might be a Melissa question. Melissa?
It's supposed to make me back the host, but I'm not. Hold on. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. In the meantime, Vice Mayor, do you have the next item so we could read through it?
Sorry, let me pull it up.
No pressure. Just the clock is running.
The second reading and adoption of ordinance, sorry. Oh wait, do you have it back? It looks like you're the host now, Melissa.
I think she has it back.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jared.
sorry about that.
Yep.
You're good. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next one, is second reading adoption of ordinance 01-2023, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Rainier, Maryland, granting renewal of the cable franchise to Comcast of Maryland LLC and authorize the franchise agreement. Can we put it on the screen, Melissa, please? So by the title, you've seen this document before. We have to do this every few years. And it's basically authorizing exactly what it says, the renewal of the franchise. So basically, it means that we get compensated for them utilizing our right of way. Okay, so move it up. So you see a lot of the warehouse right there. So keep going, keep going. Right there. So so take a look at it. It says right there what it is. Who are we going with? All right, perfect. Keep going. Oh, that was the end of it. Okay, go a little bit to the beginning. So, Council, do you guys have any questions? You guys are ready to vote. What does it look like for you guys? So basically, this is going to be, can you put it where it says from to what year is going to be standing this new agreement once it's signed? I think it's at 25. Right there. So wait, so a little bit of history right there. It says the city entered into a cable franchise agreement with Comcast Maryland LLC, which ended in 2015, but has been extended during the negotiations of the renewal of the franchise agreement. So various other cities have this agreement, so we have come together to do this. But as a city, we have to renew it every so often, and this is what we're doing. All right, anything to add, Kamali?
No, Mayor, thank you. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So Council, this is the second reading. Put the agenda in front, Melissa. And I need to hear if you have a question. I'll go ahead through it. We're gonna go Valerie, Jared, and Luke. Go ahead.
I don't have any questions on this. Thank you.
Okay. Jared?
No question.
Luke?
No questions. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Can I have a motion? It is a second reading, right? Agenda, please. Melissa, can you move it to the agenda, please? So, see that the second reading, there is some, it is for vote. So can I have a motion on the floor?
I move to approve ordinance number 01-2023.
Okay, any seconds?
Seconded.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. I'm gonna open it up to discussion. Council, since, let me see. It was just Operation. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow for sure. Thank you, Operation Art. Anything on Facebook?
No comments.
And I don't see anything on the chat, so, okay. All right, seeing none, I'm gonna, any objections, council? Abstentions? Hearing none, the second reading passed and is adopted, okay? Moving on to item number A, second reading and adoption of the ordinance 02-2023 budget amendment number 2. The mayor and council will have the second reading and adoption of the ordinance number 02-2023. So go ahead and put it on the screen. This is the second reading, so it's up for vote. And on the last meeting that this was presented more than 14 days ago, the finance director and city manager both went through, the consultant, sorry, went through a list of what it looks like. We could have a quick run through if you guys want to. Basically, what money is going to be moved from what, and how much money, how we'll revise the budget. As you could see in the screen, let me pause it, Melissa, so that way people could just see it. All right. So that includes the State Police aid, the sales of police property, the insurance damage recovery, CDBG 47. There's also other grants that were not part of the budget because we received them past the budget approval. So that's where you also see them as well, including also the Welcome Center funding that we're gonna get, Community PG's grant program, the use of the fund balance, green streets, the DHCD tag for econ development. So you see the prices right there. So that's the reason why it goes, because somebody did ask me, why did it went from 0 to adjusted? It's because that's money that we are receiving and we are allocating. Originally was a 0, and then there's the adjustment. All right, go to the next page. Here's the second part of it, CDBG 47, econ development, level up. So as you can see, our team has been very busy writing grants and very dedicated at also receiving those grants. So we want to make sure that those are put in motion in the budget to be able to utilize them. Ron, is there anything else I'm missing regarding what the budget amendment?
All I would point out is that for grants, we have to budget both the revenue and the expense side. So that's why these items show up twice. We're showing a budget amendment for the revenue and then a budget amendment for the expense portion.
Thank you so much, Kamali.
Mayor,
You're good.
yeah, Mayor, no, I think you covered everything, and that's all.
All right, perfect. So, Council, I'm gonna go ahead and open the floor to you and then to the community, and let me know where you're at. And if you're ready to vote, it's also fine. So I'm gonna go Valerie, Jared, Luke. Go ahead.
Thank you. I know a lot of work has gone into this, and thank you to Mr. Kamali and your team for going after all these grants and making us adjust our budget to incorporate all the extra funding we were getting from other sources. So thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Valerie. Melissa, can you put it all the way up so it shows the final numbers? There you go. Down to the last bit of the page. There you go. All right, Jared, the floor is yours.
Yep,
Yeah.
just would echo what Valerie said. Thanks for doing all the work here, and thanks, and this is happening because you're successfully chasing a lot of outside resources in order to help support our budget, and really appreciated all the work you're doing to help build additional capacity here. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to echo thanks to Ron and Kamali. Ron, since you come on board full time to kind of help us with everything, just things have been running very well from a finance perspective, and I appreciate you for all the work you've put in for the city in that regard. This is just great. It's something that we usually wouldn't be doing mid-year before your time. And we would sort of just go after grants and then have to kind of figure it all out after the fact in the next budget year. But appreciate you doing all this in real time as we're getting these things. So thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much. Can I have a motion the floor to open for discussion? And if members of the public you would like to make a comment, please put it on the chat so we could call upon you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you need a motion to open for discussion or what?
Motion on the floor to approve. If you guys want to, then usually we do discussion after, so we go open to the public then.
I move to approve this budget amendment.
Second.
It's probably moved and second, open it up to discussion. So members of the community, if you have anything to add, please let us know. Put your name and last name, block and street number on the chat. You have 3 minutes, or put a comment on Facebook. Okay, Jared, anything?
No comments.
All right, and I see nothing on the chat, and so far nobody said they're on the phone. So if you happen to be on the phone and need to talk, just let us know. All right, so is there okay, so I'm gonna call for the vote because it has to do with money. All right, Valerie Woodall.
Vote yes.
Jerry Stolfus.
Aye.
Luke.
Aye.
All right, this motion passes 4-0-0.
Did we lose the mayor, or can I just not
No,
hear
it
anyone?
went mute.
Okay.
First reading of the resolution 01-2023, creating the Safe Street Task Force and directing the creation of a Vision Safe Street Plan. This is the first reading, so the council will just talk, no vote on this one. All right, so you have it in front of you. Let me tell you basically what it is in very short words, and I'm gonna give the floor first to you, Jared. So this is to create the Safe Street Task Force. It will allow the city to create a task force of various individuals, which will allow us in very short resume that to apply for funds in order to address the various issues we have in order to create a Vision Zero Safe Street Plan. All right, so if you looked at it, it goes, so this is the first reading, we're gonna read through it. It says, whereas traffic crashes are among the leading causes of death and injuries within the United States and state of Maryland, whereas the traffic deaths and serious injuries in the United States have disproportionately impacted pedestrians, cyclists, people of color, low-income households, older adults, young people with disabilities, households with limited vehicle access, and where there are approximately 500 crash-related fatalities in Maryland each year, and average nearly 34,000 crash-related injuries. And these deaths and injuries include substantial numbers in the city. And whereas these serious accidents, deaths, injuries jeopardize the quality of life of the city residents and visitors and are largely preventable. And the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Job Act established a Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A grant program with $5 billion available from 2023 to 2028. And whereas the SS4A program supports the National Roadway Safety Strategy and the U.S. Department of Transportation goal of zero death and serious injuries on the nation's roadways, and to that end, provides grants to assist municipalities, among other entities, develop and updated a comprehensive safety action plan, parentheses action plan, conducted planning, design, and development of activities in support of the action plan and carry out projects and strategies identified in the action plan. The city endorses Vision Zero, a strategic to eliminate all traffic fatalities and severe injuries while increasing safe, healthy, equitable mobility for all. And the city wishes to receive grant funding through the SS4A program to improve roadway safety to the community. Therefore, be it so, the city of Rainier, Section 1, the city adopts a goal of eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2040 and endorses Vision Zero as a comprehensive collaborative approach that will involve all city departments to achieve this goal. Section 2, the city council hereby grants the Street Safe Task Force, which will consist of city manager, chief of police, the director of public works, city grant writer to council members, and that's the part I'm gonna edit. Members assigned for the city council, a representative of the city's green team, a representative of the city's green team, that has to be edited as well, and blank additional persons appointed by the council from time to time. Okay, in making its appointments, the city will endeavor to secure participation from representatives of the city schools, the Maryland State Highway Administration, the Prince George's County Department of Transportation, and other persons who have stake in reducing accidents of city streets. The Safe Street Task Force will work with the city manager, the city consultant to create Vision Zero action plan and to present it to the council for approval. Section 3, the city council directs the city manager working with the city consultant and the Safe Street Task Force to create a Vision Zero action plan for future consideration by the council. Based upon a comprehensive analysis of traffic and death injuries of the city, the action plan must include a timeline with one of the followings. 1, a target day for achieving zero roadway fatalities and serious injuries, or 2, an ambitious percentage reduction of roadway fatalities and serious injuries by a specific day with an eventual goal of eliminating roadways, fatalities, and serious injuries. B, an analysis of existing conditions and historical trends that provide a baseline level of crash involving fatalities and serious injury and includes 1, an analysis of location where there are crashes and the severity of the crashes, as well as contributing factors in crashes type or relevant road uses, more as people walking, transit users, etc. Number 2, an analysis of systematic and specific safety needs is also performed as needed, i.e. high risk road features, and specific safety needs of relevant road use, public health approaches, analysis of the built environment, demographics, structural issues, etc. To the extent practical, the analysis should include all roadways within the jurisdiction without regards for ownership. Based on the analysis performed, geospatial identification of high-risk locations is developed, parentheses, a high injury network or equivalent. C, a plan for engagement with the public and relevant stakeholders, including the private sector community groups, that allows that both community precision feedback information received is incorporated to the action plan. Overlapping jurisdictions are included in the process and included in the, process. Plans and process are coordinated and aligned with other governmental plans and planning process to the extent practical. Use inclusive and representative process. Underserved communities identified through data and other analysis. Analysis include both population characteristics and initial equity impact assessments of proposed projection and strategies. D, an assessment of current policy to identify opportunities to improve how process prioritize priority safety and proposals for adoption of revised of new policies, guidelines, and or standards as appropriate. E, identification of comprehensive set of projects and strategies to address the safety problems described in the action plan. These strategies should focus on safety system approach, effective innovations, and consider multidisciplinary activities. Data limitation are identified and mitigated. The project should be prioritized in a list, but provide time ranges from when the strategic and countermeasures will be deployed, i.e. mid-short and long-term time frames. F, a method to measure progress over time, including a minimum annual public reporting on progress toward reducing roadway fatality, serious illness, and public posting of the action plan. The city council directs the manager to ensure vision action address the safety, death, serious injury through a combination of engineering enforcement, education, and evaluation. C, this resolution will be adopted by the Council of the City of Rainier and should take effect immediately, provided that a first summary has been read in the meeting in which introduced is adopted, that a copy should be posted at City Hall at least 2 weeks after it becomes effective, and that the first summary is published at least once in a newspaper having circulation in the city, inclusive for the city newsletter or other desired, every city household. Okay. All right, so you guys have heard a fair summary. So when it comes to a second reading, I'm just gonna address the changes in the legislation, but I did a whole complete read through of the ordinance. Yeah, you can move it up, Melissa. So there's at least 3 things I need to get fixed on this, and I did send an email. Unfortunately, they didn't get changed before today, so I see it in the document, so it needs to be addressed. All right, so I'm gonna cede the floor to Jared, starting with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so folks, just for the background on this, folks may have remembered over the last year, one of the things we did last year was funded a basically a streets and sidewalks plan, and that was looking at a couple things. Ways to make the city's sort of transportation network and streets and the way you traverse the city, more livable and sustainable, to accommodate multimodal approaches of traveling, which is an easier way to say that is, not just thinking about car travel, but also walkers, folks that are, say, in wheelchairs, bicyclists, folks using other modes of transportation, and looking kind of holistically and broadly. And the final piece is like thinking about safety. So cities that are often looking to address their transportation networks in ways that we're thinking about are often doing that with the lens of addressing traffic safety and what's often called Vision Zero. This is something that we've seen in Washington, D.C., literally our neighboring jurisdiction, adopt as a goal to eliminate all, as it's laid out here, all traffic fatalities and severe injuries while increasing safe, healthy, and equitable mobility for all. So, towards that, we're looking to kind of mirror that process. And part of the reason we're doing that is it's just good practice. And we're able to point to sort of a holistic, strategic, broad and inclusive approach across the city. And part of the other reason that we're wanting to do this, and the reason this agenda item is here, is also because establishing a Vision Zero plan and sort of an input process and so forth is part of seeking funding and resources. So one of the greatest opportunities in the infrastructure bill that passed in November 2021 is a program called Safe Streets for All. It's a program where we can access money competitively for capital projects, including the things we'd want to do in the city, bump outs, bike infrastructure, better pedestrian infrastructure, ways to slow traffic down, things that are normally normally as implemented across the city, significantly outside the city's normal capital budget. So we've established this, we're doing this item in particular, again, good practice, but also to meet the goals and meet the requirements of chasing both the federal Safe Streets for All funding, but also other resources where we would have to have a sort of a similar process, a similar strategy laid out as part of our application. So I think I'll stop right there. I know other folks, especially Luke, will have some thoughts and input and items to add as well.
Thank God it was a short summary, right?
Did my best.
Nothing about my announcements after that one. All right, perfect. Luke, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions, and I'm hoping maybe Kamali can answer them. This seems like a very heavy lift. I know it's something we have to do. It just seems like a really heavy lift, like a lot of work. And I just want to know from the city manager, well, I have a couple of questions. One is sort of from the city manager's perspective, does he have the capacity to sort of set this up and help lead this? If not, who in the city is going to sort of lead the organizing of all these efforts? Would it be that one of the city council members or the mayor, whoever's involved from our end on the body? So that's one question. The second question is, what is the timeline of this task force's work? So as I understand it, we are trying to get something together by the end of summer so we can go after a grant in September. Is the work of this task force supposed to be completed by the end of the summer? Or is this something that will be ongoing? Because it just seems like a lot to get done between now and the end of summer with like a lot of volunteers here. I understand a lot of these people are staff, but so those are my three questions. Maybe if Kamala, you could answer, or
Okay,
anyone else.
thank you, Luke. Kamali, go ahead and answer, or if you need finance to answer, that's okay as well.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no, that's fine, Mayor. To answer Luke's first question, I appreciate any help because definitely, I'm the only one that doing this study right now. But Jared or anybody in the council that can give me some hand, and I think I need to have some, some help. So
Yeah,
that's the first part. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in, but Luke, I wanted to kind of do some follow-up to your comments or answer your question.
Yeah.
So we'll let
And,
Kamali answer, and then we'll give Valerie a chance, and then we'll go back to
Yep.
you, Jared. Okay, go ahead, Kamali, sorry.
Yeah, but so far I've been doing it and I'm getting some help from our grant writer because I want him to be involved since we have to apply for SS4A, as Jared said, and the deadline, we're gonna get the deliverable from Tool Design sometimes in May. And then we have enough time to apply for the grant SS4, which is gonna be sometimes announced, I believe, in September 15th of 23. So we do have enough time to apply for it. And, but I do appreciate anybody's input. That's one. Two, looking at the force is gonna be there. So we have to have 3 meetings, which I provided the information to mayor and council over the weekend. The first meeting, it has to happen on March 29. And then we go through this meeting through May. And hopefully, because we need to have that 3 meetings before the application is submitted. And then the task force is gonna meet every now and then after the implementation even. So it's gonna be ongoing process. Maybe Jared can weigh in more on that, but I believe that I was talking to Tool Design and I read some information on the link that it was provided to us by Jared, the council member. So it's going to be ongoing process. So the task force is going to be a committee that is going to be formed by mayor and council. And we need to have that one in place, even during the implementation, because we're going to have the plan ready and then we're going to go after the grant to implement the plan that the Tool Design is doing for us right now.
Okay, Luke, does that cover your questions? Oh, there's anything else that's missing?
I think if I can repeat back, so we've got to get a team, we've got to fill this team out and they have to meet. They have to, I mean, this is like March 20th is a couple weeks away. They've got to meet 3 times before May.
Yeah, the schedule that I provided to you, so I could read it. The first meeting is going to be on March 29. And the second one should be almost on April 26th.
Okay.
And the last one is going to be on May 24th before they deliver the Vision Zero action plan to the city.
Okay.
So
Thank
we
you.
want to have the task force to oversee the development and the implementation of the Vision Zero action plan.
Okay.
It will give us more points when we apply for the grant.
Yep.
It's a plus for the city to form that task force. The sooner, the better.
Yep. Thanks.
Luke, all cover?
All good. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Valerie, I'm gonna give it for Jared. Is there something you need to, regarding Luke's answer, that you need to add, or you want me to just wait for your round?
Yeah, if I could, I just, I wanted to clarify. So, and I'm saying this having worked at USDOT before, where we're seeking funding from. So you know, there are some pieces that are, there are pieces that are required pieces of the application in order to be successful. The things that Tool Design Group is also laying out for us are both best practices and things that, you know, that we need to do to, you know, to, I think, be successful in the application. I want to be clear, and because I've literally sat on the other side of comments like sort of programs like this, that in general, there is no like one sort of size fits all approach. That an agency like DOT, you know, understands that applicants may range from, you know, a city that's 1 million people to a city that's 8,500. So, you know, we should, and this is, you know, what I want to be like conscious of, Mr. Kamali, is, to make sure Tool Design Group understands, you know, there are best practices engaging and having community input. There are also, there also are limitations on, on how much, I guess, structure we can put. We can't put something together that like something like Washington, D.C. we do, just by virtue of our size and our staff and quite frankly, what's needed. So I just want to make sure we're conscious of that going in, you know, that when we're talking about the type of engagement, you know, do we need a task force, you know, in what manner do we need to, how frequently do you meet? Because, you know, if you're a city or a large county, you know, you may have a standing bike pedestrian committee like Prince George's does, or DC does, or other cities do. That's not something that a small city our size is going to have and like convene on a sort of monthly basis. It may be something we have that, you know, exists as a sort of sounding board for the purpose of chasing a grant, but, you know, we should be sizing appropriately what we're trying to, you know, what we're needing to do for, you know, the purposes of safe streets and this issue, and then also for this grant opportunity, but not oversizing it. So I think that's my sort of only reflection to Mr. Kamali is, you know, let's make sure Tool understands, you know, what we, you know, there's a world of what we could do. There's also a world of what we should and what's sized appropriately for a city. And that's what I want to just be conscious about. You know, because again, coming back to this, you know, an applicant that's successful at Safe Streets for All, which, you know, Prince George's County was successful last round, much larger cities were, but they have, you know, an infrastructure and a committee and a stakeholder feedback process that's obviously going to be far more rigorous than a city that's our size. So I just want to make sure we're conscious of that, that we don't set up something that's that's unreasonable to support and not sized appropriately for the grant opportunity that we're chasing, this grant opportunity or other ones that we're chasing.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. 3-minute cap. All right, Valerie, go ahead, your turn. And I do see Jimmy has joined. So Jimmy, you'll have the floor after Valerie, okay? We're talking about the Vision Zero.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be coming in and out, and I'll be sure, as you know, to raise my hand and talk if I have to. Otherwise, you can ignore me for a little while. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Valerie, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, and Luke, thank you for your questions. I've been a little concerned about this. I mean, that it's you know, we're in March. I was hoping to get this whole thing wrapped up by March so that we could start making some of the recommended changes if we could by our own budget, but then also going after grant funds in the spring round. But I understand that, you know, getting this Vision Zero plan together is actually going to give us more leverage and potential more funding from the federal government as well as other entities. So I'm glad that you're putting it together. I think you will have to run and chew gum and jump at the same time. And so I'm hoping that the process is going to be as smooth as it possibly can. And I look forward to seeing what is, I mean, I think we also have a number of studies about kind of what we can do already. So I'm hoping that a lot of the study work that has been done previously could be put into this plan without a lot of extra thought, like not a lot of extra like work, you know, in terms of that. So Thank you for bringing this to us. I look forward to seeing what comes of it, and I look forward to working through it. I know the police chief was just at the Mount Rainier Elementary School talking about safe routes to school with the PTO community, and there's a lot we can do in the interim. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Valerie. And Jimmy said if he has something to add, he'll raise his hand. So he's lowering my screen. So if any of you guys see him raising his hand, please let me know, okay? Melissa and any other council members. He's lowering my screen. So I did send some changes that I need to see in this document. The green team does show up twice in the document, one after another one. If we could delete it, if that was a placer for a different team, that's fine. The other one, I said to members of mayor and council, because whether I take it or not, I will never take that opportunity from anybody that's in my seat. As ideally, in the future, if we decide to continue doing this, we have a platform set correctly. So Melissa, I see you watching, looking at it, it's like where the composition, the membership of the committee. That's what it is. All right, the other thing is, I have a question. You guys are meeting the 29th because we're waiting after the second reading to establish this? Is that why I said the 29, or why can the collective meet earlier?
Because the next meeting, which is going to be on 21st, I'm asking mayor and council to have a special meeting before the work session to approve this resolution. Then once it's approved, the tool design is available on March 29 to have the first meeting if the committee is formed.
So is there any way they can meet the same week, Mr. Kamali? Because time is
I can ask them.
So, yeah, if they could meet, this thing gets approved on the 21st, that will push it over. That will address some of the concerns that Valerie has.
Sure.
But also will give us time in case. And also it will be a lot further away from spring break. We know that the host, a lot of the people, including some of the people that are being mentioned on it, the green team, stuff like that, they might be out of town for spring break, and some of them are leaving as early as the 31st. So that would give you an extra week to push it up if possible. So can you double check with them if they could meet shortly after?
You mean on 22nd, Mayor?
If you could meet anytime after the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, go ahead. So that will give you a week ahead. So that way you guys push it if possible. But the other thing, I know you guys have like, even when you guys have meetings, right? As this reading is moving forward, right? To establish the team, a big chunk of it staff. So maybe even having staff start working on some of the things that might be needed for the first meeting, so they could move a little bit, like, what Valerie was mentioning, like, walking and chewing gum at the same time, right? So that way that meeting becomes a work meeting with information in front. So that way it might help you to move it forward, because I know time is of the essence. And we have elections and a budget to go. So it's a lot to try to squeeze it all in before. During the summer, I'm not, sorry guys, this is what happens when you've been doing a lot of talking, right? During the summer, I'm not too over concerned because we're in recess. So at least you don't have that many meetings like we have right now. So it might help you some, but that way you could get as much of it done as soon as possible so your team can move forward. Okay.
Sure.
So if you guys could make those additions, take away the second green team and put members of mayor and council on it, that definitely will help. And I'll go through. The other thing is, like, I need to get clarity from our team on why does it has to be published in a newspaper, because that will take a lot more time. Because I believe you have to give it like 2 weeks or whatever it is to put this information out. Melissa, what's the schedule for publishing in the newspaper ordinance?
Usually we get it done the next week because we have to submit it by midday of Tuesday for the Thursday publication. So the next week we should be able to publish it.
And this is in rotation with our newsletter, because it also addresses that it needs to be our newsletter as well.
Yeah, so whenever we have the next newsletter, it will be included.
So double check how it's written, because I'm not sure if it has to done the same day and for what the frame is, but also talk to legal to figure out what this has to be in a newspaper. And if it is, start looking into reaching out to them to put this, how much information needs to be published and where, in order for us to fulfill what is needed. Because I don't want it to be cut off like in the weeds, when I know this, we have short time as the other council members mentioned. But thank you guys for putting this this document together as fast as you guys have put it. All right, so Are you letting me know Jimmy has his hand up or you guys want to talk?
I was looking to talk.
Okay, so Luke, I'm gonna give it to you because Jerry had two times already. So go ahead, it's yours.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand here. So are we gonna do an open solicitation or are we gonna stick to appointments from existing committees and kind of from time to time as noted in here? I think the appointing from committees, already existing committees, and from time to time from the entities kind of listed there will obviously be quicker, but open to discussion on whether we need to do some sort of open solicitation period.
So Luke, what we can easily do is like the communications team to put something out tomorrow saying we have had a first reading on this. And if you're interested in like participating, this is the 3 meetings that you need to be able to attend. So that way up the front, we let people know that that's what it is, because it might deter people from being able to do it. Because the reality is like, I don't want to have a committee of like 20. And at the end, I have the staff that the 2 members of council, right? And 1 person from the green team and the other like 20 other people that said that could do it can't because of conflict of schedule. So we could put something out tomorrow saying, hey, the American Council is reviewing this. Will you be interested to join? We're looking for, and there's a line on it that's for us to decide. We want to add 2 more members of the community. And then as needed, we could add more, right? But it's a line that we could fill at whatever number it is. But once again, manageable size will be better than having 10 more members of the community in case that's what we want.
I don't think, I think we should be very limited. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, that's fine. So if you see it, Melissa, where's the little line where it says, so there's a little line in the ordinance that allows for us to plug in a number there. It could be up to 4 members if that makes sense. So it doesn't have to be all 4, but if 4 people wants to do this, great. But if you notice, the stakeholders include the PTOs and various members to go ahead and join us as the events. On it, some people are not going to want to, get involved on the administrative side of it. They might get more involved on the hands-on portion of it. So it might be 2 different things.
Yeah, I would, my vote would be for up to 2 additional, and use the word up to, so we could appoint 0, we could appoint 2, but I wouldn't go more than 2, because if you appoint 2, you're at 7, and that's a big group of people to try to agree on something.
Correct. All right, perfect. Jared, the floor is yours, and then I'll see Valerie and Jimmy wanted. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's just, Luke, I think that's what I'm looking for. I just want to be, clear. There's no prescription in USDOT. They ask if there's committee, a stakeholder input, through a task force or a committee or something like that. They don't prescribe. The USDOT does not prescribe what it looks like. So we should do a process, an approach that makes sense and is sized appropriately, both in terms of the time and the staffing constraints for this exercise. I also just want to highlight that, this is kind of directly organized around the purposes of chasing grant funding for this program. It is not, this committee or task force is not the only avenue that members of the public would be able to, provide input on the outputs of the Safe Streets plan that Tool Design Group is putting together. So I just want to clarify that. But again, I want to, let's, make sure we size this thing correctly from a time and a staffing perspective for the opportunity that we're chasing. Mr. Kowal, I'm happy to, kind of work with you on that. And if, size this appropriately, I know Tool does this professionally. They also do it for much larger cities. I also just want to make sure they understand this sort of the way things need to be sized for, the capacity and staffing that a city like ours has, and not something that, Frederick, Maryland, or Baltimore, or Charlotte, North Carolina might be doing. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So if I could have thumbs up, if we agree up to 2 on the box, we could add that tonight. So that was ready for the second reading. Where are we, Council? You want to add up to 2? I see thumbs up. Valerie, Luke, where are you? Jerry, good. Okay. So Jimmy, I don't see you, but oh, I don't see you, but I'll take it as on it. So if Melissa, if you could add to 2 on it. And then we are also in agreement to add a legislative session to have a second reading on this document, correct? In order for this to pass by the 21st. Council, can we get that agreement? So be in the meeting on top of like the work section, not a separate day. Yes, we're good. If not, this will be pushed down another month. And the reality is like we're running against time. So I would say the other thing is like it says something about reporting annually. I would change that to 6 months instead of annually. So that way we're able to get feedback from like the council and the community at midpoint before like the September deadline is. So that way the community feels involved with, although they're not having a bunch of members on it. So the presentation could be moving forward on what some of the findings were passed. But I think 6 months is a good way for us to do a check-in and have feedback and then send it out to whatever else needs to be added. Okay. Yes. Yes, kind of. All right. Valerie, I'm going to see you the floor since we all basically talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Perfect. No, you're good. But remember, I try to be fair, right? So first round is 3 minutes. Second is 2 and 1 is 3. The minute we open another round, I have to like see the floor to everybody. The other thing, Mr. Kamali, to add, I know it says the various stakeholders. What you guys could also do is invite like, the PTOs, especially because they deal with a lot of traffic, on the meetings that are like appropriate talking about those areas. So that way they're aware they're coming. So that way if they could join the president, so where their designee is, they could come and they could go ahead. So this does not limit if you guys need extra people for that meeting to be able to voice their concerns. Okay. And also for the community as a whole, if you guys go is, come to the meeting of the body in case there's like some feedback that needs to happen for the public as well. So I just want to make sure we have clarity that this is definitely a work group and they'll be reporting to the community as a whole as well as to the rest of us. All right, perfect. So seeing anything else, I am done with that first reading. We'll make those edits and then for the next meeting, we'll highlight what it looks like. Okay. I don't see the director of code. Maybe that'll be one of the ones you guys need to add. So that way, especially because they work with policy, works with coding in the city. And I know they're going to be the ones like working on facilitating. So that might be one of the people that you guys might have to add from your team. Because Unicode is a special kind of animal. So that also helps. All right, perfect. Moving on to the next item. Sorry, I opened my screen so much I can't even see it. All right, so moving on to item number 10, Teachers Appreciation Fund for Thomas Stone Elementary and Mount Rainier Elementary. Mayor and Council approved the yearly funds of $500 for each of the schools for Teacher Appreciation Week. So it's been customary for Mayor and Council to approve $1,000 in the budget, split $500 to each of the schools. Although we approved this on our budget, as of maybe 4 years ago, Luke, or something, because before, like, the former mayor used to come and ask for him, and we're talking about it and saying, like, we cannot work like that, have it in the budget, because we know every year we're going to give it to them. But that way we make sure it was secure. So I was like, that way it's there. So I did got contacted from Rainier Elementary to remind me it is that time of the year. So we put it there although it's approved by the budget, but it's definitely good to vote on it, to support and thank our teachers because they do a lot. So this funding usually goes together to other funding they receive in order to have various things, since they have like breakfast or lunch and giveaways of various things. So that's what this funding helps contribute to a bigger piece of that's being done to celebrate the teachers. I know of the various parents also send appreciation gifts to the teachers, but as the city is a way for us to also contribute to that fund that goes directly and specifically for Teacher Appreciation Week. All right, so Council, I'm gonna go around to see if you guys have anything to say. So Valerie, I'm starting with you.
I mean, it sounds great. I think we should definitely support our teachers. They do a great job. We have a lot of local teachers as well, especially at Mount Rainier Elementary. So I'm definitely supportive of this. Thank you.
Perfect. Jared?
Concur with Valerie. No additional thoughts.
Luke?
Great program. Thanks, Mayor.
Perfect. So the checks, finance already has them ready to go and they'll be dropped off this week. So you guys are aware. So we're gonna move on that really quickly so they could start buying the stuff. So we are gonna have a vote, Melissa. Even if it's a symbolic vote of like support for our teachers. Okay. Valerie,
Aye.
Jared, unmute.
Yep. Aye, thank you.
Luke,
Aye.
and I did not see Jamie. I know Jamie's in this cyber world. All right, so this passes 400. Okay, and like I said, it was already part of the budget, but we always like to make sure we address the situation. All right, which very happily to support our teachers. All right, number 11, vote on approval of the minutes. This is 5 minutes, 3 minutes, Melissa, if not one. The mayor and council will vote on approving of the minutes for January 17, 2023, special legislative meeting and work session, February 5, 2023, special legislative meeting, and February 7, 2023, legislative meeting. All these minutes have been provided to us previously. And we were asked to submit any changes to Melissa last week so she could like make them. And Melissa, anything was sent?
No, Mayor.
So that means it's the same exact minutes that were submitted, some 2 weeks and some of them a little bit longer. But council can I have a motion in the floor to approve this 3 sets of minutes, please?
So moved.
Seconded.
Is we probably move in second. Any discussion? So members of the community, if you want to say anything, please let us know. Okay. So I'm not hearing anything. Anything on Facebook, Jared?
Nope.
All right. Nothing on the chat as well. So any objections? Abstentions? Hearing none. The minutes for January 17, special and work session at the 5th and the 7th have passed unanimously 400. Okay, thank you, Melissa and Gabby, for the work on this. I know you guys spend quite a bit of time listening to us speak and writing the information. It's appreciated. And thank you for keeping us up to date. All right, so moving on to item number 12, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
It took
Second.
me a second to like think about this. All right, thank you so much. We'll probably move in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections? Abstentions? This meeting has come to an end at 8:18 p.m. So see you guys on the next work session. And remember, it's going to be legislative, special legislative, and work session. Okay. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, staff, as
everyone.
well. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Thank you.